A Christmas Carol, also known as Disney's A Christmas Carol, is a 2009 American animated Christmas fantasy film based on the 1843 novel of the same name by Charles Dickens. The film was directed, written, and co-produced by Robert Zemeckis, and stars a motion-captured and voice cast that includes Jim Carrey, Gary Oldman, Colin Firth, Bob Hoskins, Robin Wright-Penn, Cary Elwes, and Fionnuala Flanagan. Produced by Walt Disney Pictures and Image Movers Digital, and released by Walt Disney Studios Motion Pictures, it is Disney's third adaptation of the novel, following Mickey's Christmas Carol, 1983, and The Muppet Christmas Carol, 1992. The film was animated through the process of motion capture, a technique used in Image Movers' previous animated films including The Polar Express, 2004, Monster House, 2006, and Beowulf, 2007. Like the previous films Zemeckis has directed, Alan Silvestri returned to compose the score. A Christmas Carol was the first film produced by Image Movers Digital, and also was, along with Mars Needs Moms, 2011, the only Image Movers Digital projects made, before the studio was shut down by the Walt Disney Company for unsatisfactory box office results. 5. A Christmas Carol had its world premiere in London on November 3, 2009, which coincided with the switching on of the annual Oxford Street and Regent Street Christmas lights 6/7. It was later released in Disney Digital 3D, RealD 3D, and IMAX 3D formats in the United States on November 6. 8. It grossed $325.3 million worldwide against a $175 to $200 million production budget, and received mixed reviews from critics, who criticized its dark tone and script, but praised its visuals, Silvestri's score, and the performances of Carrey and Oldman. Nevertheless, the film was nominated for Favorite Animated Movie and Carrey won Favorite Voice from an Animated Movie at the 2010 Kids' Choice Awards. Plot. On Christmas Eve of 1836, Ebenezer Scrooge's best friend and business partner Jacob Marley dies. 7 years later he becomes a surly businessman living in Victorian London who refuses to partake in the merriment of Christmas. On Christmas Eve in 1843, he declines an invitation to his nephew Fred's Christmas dinner, harshly dismisses two gentlemen who are collecting donations for the poor, and only reluctantly allows his employee Bob Cratchit to have Christmas Day off. That night, Scrooge is visited by the ghost of Jacob, who is bound in chains. He informs Scrooge that 3 spirits will visit him over the course of 3 nights, and he must heed their warnings or suffer a similar fate to his. At 1 o'clock, Scrooge is visited by the ghost of Christmas Past, who shows him visions of his early life, such as his lonely days in boarding school, his relationship with his younger sister Fan, and his time as an apprentice under the benevolent Mr. Fetziwig. The young Scrooge met a young woman named Belle, with whom he fell in love, but his focus on accruing wealth drove them apart. Overwhelmed, Scrooge extinguishes the ghost's flame and returns home. Scrooge next meets the merry ghost of Christmas Present, who shows how others find joy on Christmas Day. Scrooge and the ghost visit Bob's house and he learns his family is content with their small dinner and meager home. Scrooge takes pity on Bob's ill son Tiny Tim, whom the ghost reveals might not survive until next Christmas. They next visit Fred's house, where Fred insists the guests raise a toast to Scrooge in spite of his stinginess. Before the ghost dies, he shows Scrooge the evils of ignorance and want. The ghost of Christmas yet to come appears to Scrooge and shows him a hypothetical future where people respond to an unknown man's death with apathy and even satisfaction. Faced with the man's covered body, Scrooge asks to see tenderness associated with death, and the ghost shows him the Cratchit family mourning the death of Tiny Tim. Finally, the ghost takes Scrooge to a cemetery and points out a tombstone bearing Scrooge's name, confirming that he is the dead man. The stone further indicates that his death will fall on Christmas Day of an undisclosed and possibly imminent year. Horrified, Scrooge vows to change his ways before finding himself back in his bedroom. Discovering it is Christmas Day, a gleeful Scrooge begins spreading happiness and joy around London, anonymously sending the Cratchits a turkey, providing charity to one of the gentlemen, and attending Fred's Christmas dinner. The next day, Scrooge raises Bob's salary and pledges his support for the Cratchits. Scrooge becomes a father figure to Tiny Tim, who overcomes his ailments and is restored to health, treating everyone with kindness, generosity, and compassion, thus embodying the Christmas spirit. Cast: Jim Carrey as Ebenezer Scrooge, a grumpy, penny-pinching, and lonely old man whose sheer greedy nature leads him to despise Christmas and all things which engender happiness. Carrey also portrays Ghost of Christmas Past, who is depicted as an androgynous man with a flickering flame for a head and a body like a candle and speaks with an Irish accent. Ghost of Christmas Present, who is depicted as a towering man with red hair, a full beard, and a green ermine robe, and is a jolly figure prone to hearty laughter and speaks with a Yorkshire accent. Ghost of Christmas Yet to Come, who is depicted as an ominous shadow of Scrooge's alter ego. His appearance is of a figure in a large black hooded cloak. Gary Oldman as Bob Cratchit, Scrooge's poor underpaid clerk. Jacob Marley, the ghost of Scrooge's ex-business partner who is bound in chains. Oldman also provides the motion capture for Tiny Tim, Cratchit's youngest son. Colin Firth as Fred, Scrooge's cheerful nephew and only living relative. He is the son of Scrooge's long-dead sister Fan. Robin Wright Penn as Belle, Scrooge's neglected fiancée. Fan, motion capture, Scrooge's beloved late sister who was the mother of Fred. Bob Hoskins as Mr. Nigel Fetziwig, the proprietor of a warehouse business for whom Scrooge worked as a young apprentice. Hoskins also portrays Old Joe, a fence who buys the belongings of the deceased Scrooge from Mrs. Dilbear. Cary Elwes as Dick Wilkins /portly gentleman #1/mad fiddler /guest #2 businessman number 1. Elwes would also act as a stand-in for Scrooge or the ghosts of Christmas past and present in scenes where these characters appear together, as all were portrayed by Jim Carrey. Fionnuala Flanagan as Mrs. Dilbear, Scrooge's charwoman. Leslie Manville as Mrs. Emily Cratchit. Faye Masterson as Martha Cratchit /guest #1/Caroline. Molly C. Quinn as Belinda Cratchit. Daryl Sabara as Peter Cratchit /Undertaker's apprentice /tattered caroler #1/beggarboy #1/well-dressed caroler number 1. Leslie Zemeckis as Janet Holywell, credited as Fred's wife. Steve Valentine as funerary undertaker /topper. Julian Holloway as fat cook /portly gentleman #2 businessman number 3. Sammy Hanratty as beggar boy #3 young Cratchit girl /want girl /fan, voice. Sage Ryan as tattered caroler #2 Tiny Tim, additional motion capture. Ryan Ochoa as tattered caroler #4 beggar boy #2 young Cratchit boy ignorance boy young boy with sleigh Tiny Tim, voice. Amber Gainey Mead as tattered caroler #3 well-dressed caroler number 2. Bobby Page as tattered caroler #5 well-dressed caroler number 3. Ron Bottada as tattered caroler #6 well-dressed caroler number 4. Jackie Barnbrook as Mrs. Allie Fetziwig Fred's sister-in-law well-dressed caroler number 5. Paul Blackthorne as guest #3 businessman number 2. Michael Hyland as guest number 4. Carrie Hoyt as adult ignorance. Julian Rene Preciado as adult want. Production. After making The Polar Express, 2004, Robert Zemeckis stated that he fell in love with digital theater and tried finding an avenue to use the format again. 9. He eventually decided that an adaptation of Charles Dickens's A Christmas Carol would be an opportunity to achieve this. 9. Upon rereading the story, he realized that the story has never been realized in a way that it was actually imagined by Charles Dickens as he wrote it, as well as that it's as if he wrote the story to be a movie because it's so visual and so cinematic. 9. Zemeckis has stated previously that A Christmas Carol is one of his favorite stories dealing with time travel. 10. Jim Carrey, who played Ebenezer Scrooge and each of the three spirits, has described the film as a classical version of A Christmas Carol. There are a lot of vocal things, a lot of physical things, I have to do. Not to mention doing the accents properly, the English, Irish accents. I want it to fly in the UK. I want it to be good and I want them to go, yeah, that's for real. We were very true to the book. It's beautiful. It's an incredible film. 11. The Walt Disney Company partnered with Amtrak to promote the film with a special nationwide exhibition train tour, starting at Los Angeles in May 2009 and visiting 40 cities, finishing in New York City in November. 12-13. Soundtrack. Main article, A Christmas Carol, soundtrack. The film's music was composed, orchestrated, and conducted by Alan Silvestri and performed by the Hollywood Studio Symphony. The film's music was also orchestrated by William Ross, Conrad Pope, and John Ashton Thomas and performed by London Voices and the Hollywood Studio Symphony. 14. Much of the film's music was based on traditional Christmas carols such as God Rest You Merry, Gentlemen, Deck the Halls, O Come, All Ye Faithful, Hark! The Herald Angels Sing and Joy to the World. The film's theme song, titled God Bless Us Everyone, was written by Glenn Ballard and Alan Silvestri and performed by Italian classical crossover tenor Andrea Bocelli. The film's soundtrack album was recorded in 2009 at the Newman Scoring Stage in Los Angeles, California. The film's soundtrack album was also released on November 3, 2009 by Walt Disney Records. Present by Juju is the theme song for the Japanese version. 15. Release. A Christmas Carol opened in London on November 3, 2009, and was theatrically released on November 6, 2009, in the United States by Walt Disney Studios Motion Pictures. Home media. Walt Disney Studios Home Entertainment released the film on November 16, 2010 16 in a single-disc DVD, 2-disc 2D Blu-ray/DVD combo and in a 4-disc combo pack that includes a Blu-ray 3D, a regular Blu-ray, a DVD, and a digital copy. This marked the first time that a film was available in Blu-ray 3D the same day as a standard Blu-ray citation needed, as well as Disney's first in the Blu-ray 3D market along with Alice in Wonderland, 2010. 17. The DVD contains deleted scenes and 2 featurettes called On Set with Sammy and Capturing a Christmas Carol. The Blu-ray also has a digital advent calendar and the featurette Behind the Carol, the full motion capture experience. The Blu-ray 3D has an exclusive 3D game called Mr. Scrooge's Wild Ride. The film grossed $69 million in home sales. 18. Reception. Box office. A Christmas Carol grossed $137.9 million in the United States and Canada, and $187.4 million in other territories, for a worldwide total of $325.3 million. 3. Due to its high production and marketing costs, the film lost the studio an estimated $50 to $100 million, and forced Mark Zoradi, president of Walt Disney Studios Motion Pictures Group and the head of worldwide marketing, to resign. 19. The film opened at number 1 in 3,683 theaters, grossing $30.1 million its opening weekend, with an average of $8,159 per theater. 20. In the United Kingdom, A Christmas Carol topped the box office on 2 occasions. The first was when it opened, the second was 5 weeks later when it leapfrogged box office chart toppers 2012, The Twilight Saga, New Moon and Paranormal Activity despite family competition from Nativity, another Christmas-themed film. Critical response. On review aggregator Rotten Tomatoes, 52% of 199 critics have given the film a positive review with an average rating of 6/10. The site's critical consensus read, Robert Zemeckis' 3D animated take on the Dickens classic tries hard, but its dazzling special effects distract from an array of fine performances from Jim Carrey and Gary Oldman. 21. On Metacritic, another aggregator, The film has a weighted average score of 55 out of 100 based on 32 critics, indicating mixed or average reviews. 22 audiences polled by CinemaScore gave the film an average grade of B+ on an A+ to F scale. 23. Roger Ebert of the Chicago Sun-Times gave the film 4 stars out of 4, calling it an exhilarating visual experience. 24. Owen Gleiberman of Entertainment Weekly gave the film an A, applauding the film as a marvelous and touching Yuletide toy of a movie. 25. Joe Newmayer of the New York Daily News gave the film 3/5 stars and stated the film is well crafted but artless, detailed but lacking soul. 26. Mary Elizabeth Williams of Salon.com gave the film a mixed review, claiming the movie is a triumph of something but it's certainly not the Christmas spirit. 27. Joe Morgenstern of the Wall Street Journal wrote in his review that the film's tone is joyless, despite an extended passage of bizarre laughter, several dazzling flights of digital fancy, a succession of striking images and Jim Carrey's voicing of Scrooge plus half a dozen other roles. 28. The Daily Telegraph reviewer Tim Roby wrote, "How much is gained by the half-real visual style for this story is open to question. The early scenes are laborious and never quite alive, and the explosion of jollity at the end lacks the virtue of being funny." 29. Peter Bradshaw in The Guardian also criticized the technology. "The high-tech sheen is impressive but in an unexciting way. I wanted to see real human faces convey real human emotions." 30. Time Out London praised the film for sticking to Dickens' original dialogue but also questioned the technology by saying, "To an extent, this Christmas Carol is a case of style and stylization overwhelming substance." 31. In 2019, Robert Keeling of Den of Geek praised the animation. 32. He felt Scrooge's encounter with the final ghost to be a bit tedious, as it soon becomes an elaborate chase scene purely designed to show off the 3D, but called the film an enjoyable and memorable version. James Eugene Carrey, Carey, born January 17, 1962, one is a Canadian and American actor and comedian. Known primarily for his energetic slapstick performances too, he is regarded as one of the most prominent comedic actors of his generation. He has received 2 Golden Globe Awards, in addition to nominations for BAFTA Awards and Screen Actors Guild Awards. After spending the 1980s honing his comedy act and playing supporting roles in films, Carrey gained recognition when he was cast in the Fox sketch comedy series In Living Color, 1990 to 1994. He broke out as a film star after starring in a string of box office hits, such as Ace Ventura, Pet Detective, The Mask, Dumb and Dumber, all 1994, Ace Ventura, When Nature Calls, and Batman Forever, both 1995. The success of these 5 films led to Carrey being the first comic actor to receive an upfront $20 million salary for performing in films, beginning with The Cable Guy, 1996. 3. Carrey continued to have success as a leading actor in comedies such as Liar Liar, 1997, How the Grinch Stole Christmas, 2000, Bruce Almighty, 2003, Lemony Snicket's A Series of Unfortunate Events, 2004, and Yes Man, 2008. Since the 2010s, Carrey has appeared in fewer films, with notable works including Dumb and Dumber 2, 2014, and his role as Dr. Eggman in the Sonic the Hedgehog film series, 2020, present. Although largely typecast as a comedic actor, Carrey had success in dramatic roles. His critically acclaimed performances include the title role in The Truman Show, 1998, and Andy Kaufman in Man on the Moon, 1999, winning Golden Globe Awards for each film. He starred in the romantic drama film Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, 2004, for which he was nominated for a BAFTA Award and another Golden Globe. Carrey also starred in the Showtime tragicomedy series Kidding, 2018 to 2020, for which he received his 7th Golden Globe nomination. Early life. Carrey was born in Newmarket, Ontario, Canada. 4 to Kathleen, née Oram, a homemaker, and Percy Carey, a musician and accountant. 5. He was raised Catholic and has 3 older siblings. 6. 7. His mother was of Irish and Scottish descent, and his father was of French-Canadian ancestry. The family's original surname was Kerr. 8. 9. 10. At age 8, he began making faces before a mirror and discovered a talent for doing impressions. 11. At age 10, Carrey wrote a letter to Carol Burnett of The Carol Burnett Show pointing out that he was already a master of impressions and should be considered for a role on the show. He was overjoyed when he received a form letter reply. 12. A fan of Monty Python, whose television show Monty Python's Flying Circus aired in the 1970s. In 2014, Carrey appeared on Monty Python's Best Bits, Mostly, and recalled the effect on him of Ernest Scribbler, played by Michael Palin, laughing himself to death in the funniest joke in the world sketch. 13. Radio Times states, "You'll see why immediately, Palin's performance is uncannily Carrey-esque." 13. Carrey spent his early years in the borough of Scarborough, Ontario, part of metropolitan Toronto, where he attended Blessed Trinity Catholic Elementary School in North York. His family later moved to Burlington, Ontario, where they would spend 8 years. Carrey attended Aldershot High School while there. 14. Sometime later, his family became homeless and lived together in a Volkswagen van while teenage Carrey and his brother spent months living in a tent in Charles Daly Park on the Lake Ontario shore in Lincoln, Ontario. 15. 16. The family struggled financially, however, their situation started improving once his father found employment in the accounting department at the Titan Wheels tire factory in Scarborough. 16. Furthermore, in return for living in the house across the street from the factory, the family, primarily Carrey and his older brother, would work as janitors and security guards at the tire factory, doing 8-hour shifts from 6 p.m. into the next morning. 16. Moving back to Scarborough, teenage Carrey started attending Agincourt Collegiate Institute before dropping out of school on his 16th birthday. He began to perform comedy in downtown Toronto while continuing to work at the factory. In a 2007 Hamilton Spectator interview, Carrey said, "If my career in show business hadn't panned out, I would probably be working today in Hamilton, Ontario, at the Dofasco Steel Mill." As a young man, he could see the steel mills across the Burlington Bay and often thought that was where the great jobs were. 17. Career. See also, Jim Carrey filmography and list of awards and nominations received by Jim Carrey. 1977 to 1982, early impressionist work in Toronto. Carrey's first stand-up comedy experience took place in 1977 at the age of 15, with his father trying to help him put together a stage act, driving him to downtown Toronto to debut at the recently opened Yuck Yucks Comedy Club, operating one night a week out of Community Centre, the 519's basement on Church Street. 16. 18. For the performance, Carrey had his attire a polyester leisure suit chosen by his mother, who reasoned that's how they dress on the Dean Martin Celebrity Roast. 1916. Pubescent Carrey's conventional impersonations bombed, proving ill-suited for a club with a raunchy comedic sensibility and giving him doubts about his potential as a professional entertainer. 16 decades later, recalling Carrey's stand-up debut, Yuck Yucks owner Mark Breslin described it as bad rich little. 16. His family's financial struggles made it difficult for them to support Carrey's show business ambitions. Eventually, the family's financial situation improved and they moved into a new home in Jackson's Point. 1820. With more domestic stability, Carrey returned to the stage in 1979 with a more polished act that led to his first paid gig, a 20-minute spot at the Hayloft Club on Highway 48 in Scarborough for a reported $20 compensation on a bill with the mother of pearl performer from The Pig and Whistle. 21. He soon faced his fears and went back downtown to the site of his debacle from 2 years earlier, Yuck Yucks, that had in the meantime moved into a permanent location on Bay Street in the fashionable Yorkville district. In a short period of time, the 17-year-old went from open mic nights at the club to regular paid shows, building his reputation in the process. Parallel to his increasing local Toronto area popularity as an impressionist stand-up comic, Carrey tried to break into sketch comedy, auditioning to be a cast member for the 1980-81 season of NBC's Saturday Night Live. Carrey ended up not being selected by the show's new executive producer Gene Domanian, who picked 31-year-old Charles Rocket instead. 22 decades later, after establishing himself as a Hollywood film star, Carrey would host the show in May 1996, January 2011, and October 2014. 23-24 After not getting Saturday Night Live, Carrey took a voice acting job performing Clutch Cargo-inspired bits on The All Night Show, an overnight program airing locally on the CFMT TV channel branded as Multilingual Television, MTV. 25. Continuing to perform his stand-up act of contortionist impressions in the city of Toronto and surrounding towns, in February 1981, 19-year-old Carrey was booked as the opening act for the rock band Godot at the Roxy Theatre in Barrie for 2 shows on consecutive nights. The rock crowd booed him off stage and he refused to return for the second night. 26 2 weeks later, however, a review of one of Carrey's spots at Yuck Yucks alongside a sizable photo of him doing a stage impression of Sammy Davis Jr. appeared in the Toronto Star on the front page of its entertainment section, with the writer Bruce Blackadar raving about a genuine star coming to life. 27-28 Save for a brief mention in the Barrie Examiner, it was the first time Carrey received significant mainstream corporate media coverage, and the glowing praise in one of Canada's highest circulation dailies created demand for his impressionist stand-up act throughout the country. 28-21 In April 1981, he appeared in an episode of the televised stand-up show An Evening at the Improv. 29 That summer, he landed one of the main roles in Introducing Janet, a made-for-TV movie that premiered in September 1981 on the CBC, drawing more than 1 million viewers for its first airing in Canada. 30 Playing a struggling impressionist comic Tony Maroney, it was Carrey's first acting role. The CBC promotion the movie had received, as well its subsequent high nationwide viewership, further solidified the youngster's comedic status in the country. By the time the movie finished its CBC run of repeats several years later, its title for the home video release on VHS was changed to Rubberface in order to take advantage of the comic's by then established prominence for doing elaborate contortionist impressions. 30 Making more comedy club appearances in the United States, Carrey was noticed by comedian Rodney Dangerfield, who signed Carrey to open his tour performances. By December 1981, a well-known comic in Canada, Toronto Star, reported about Carrey waiting for a United States work permit, having received interest from Johnny Carson's Tonight Show, largely off his reputation from Canada. 31-32 In the early part of 1982, Carrey reportedly performed for the Tonight Show bookers Jim McCauley and Bud Robinson as part of the program's audition process for stand-up comic spots. 33 However, rather than being booked on the show, Carrey got advised to further hone his act, so he went back home to the Toronto area where he had already built a significant following. 33 Touring venues throughout North America as the opening act for Rodney Dangerfield, Carrey made a stop at home in Toronto on June 19, 1982, performing 2 sold-out shows at Massey Hall. 1983 to 1993, moved to Hollywood. Carrey in 1985. In early 1983, Carrey decided to move to Hollywood, where he began regularly performing at the Comedy Store. Getting on The Tonight Show became his immediate career goal, and, by spring 1983, he appeared to have achieved it after getting booked for a stand-up set on the highly rated Late Night Show. 34 However, a lukewarm club set at the Improv got him unbooked. 34 Though struggling to replicate his success in Los Angeles, Carrey continued being a big hit in his hometown Toronto, where he returned during late April 1983 to perform at the short-lived B.B. Magoon's theatrical venue on Bloor Street on 3 consecutive nights. While in town, CTV's flagship news magazine program W5 did a feature on Carrey that aired nationally in Canada. Back in LA, within months, he landed the main role on The Duck Factory, a sitcom being developed for NBC, and, in late November 1983, still got to debut his impressionist act on The Tonight Show starring Johnny Carson via a promotional appearance for the sitcom about to start airing nationally in the United States on the same network. 34 In the meantime, he was cast for a supporting role in the Warner Brothers comedy production Finders Keepers, shot in the Canadian province of Alberta during late summer 1983. For his Tonight Show appearance that aired on American Thanksgiving, 21-year-old Carrey went through his most popular impressions: Elvis Presley, Leonid Brezhnev, Jack Nicholson, Bruce Dern, Clint Eastwood, Charles Bronson, Michael Landon, James Dean, E.T. the Extraterrestrial, Charles Nelson Riley, characters from My Three Sons, and Kermit the Frog and Miss Piggy in rapid succession. 35 After completing his set, though getting the OK gesture from Carson, the impressionist comic was notably not waved over by the host to join him on the couch, a usual indication that while sufficiently pleased, the powerful host was probably not ecstatic about the performance. 36 The end of 1983 saw Carrey go back home to Toronto once more for a publicized New Year's Eve performance at the Royal York Hotel's Imperial Room. Originally scheduled to start airing in January 1984, the Duck Factory sitcom debuted in April, airing Thursdays at 9:30 p.m. between Cheers and Hill Street Blues. 37-38 The same month, Carrey took a job hosting the 1984 Awards ceremony held in Toronto at the Royal York Hotel's ballroom. 39 By the time he made his debut appearance on NBC's Late Night with David Letterman in late July 1984, the network had already cancelled the Duck Factory. Carrey went back to touring with his impressionist act, including often opening for Rodney Dangerfield. After being noticed doing stand-up by producer Samuel Goldwyn Jr. and contacted to audition for a teen horror sex comedy being developed by the Samuel Goldwyn Company, Carrey landed a starring role in Once Bitten, shot in early 1985. 40 Carrey would continue getting film roles throughout late summer and early fall 1985. He shot a supporting part in Francis Ford Coppola's Peggy Sue Got Married, which went into a long post-production process. 40 In parallel, he decided to try out for Saturday Night Live again, this time ahead of the show's 1985-86 season being prepared by returning executive producer Lorne Michaels, who was looking to hire an all-new cast. 5 years removed from his previous SNL audition, 23-year-old Carrey was rejected again, reportedly never even getting the chance to audition his material post-nuclear Elvis hybrid impression and impersonation of Henry Fonda from On Golden Pond in front of executive producer Michaels due to the show's producers and senior writers Al Franken, Tom Davis, and Jim Downey deciding that Michaels would not like it. 41 Unlike his previous SNL rejection, Carrey now had a bit of a film career to fall back on. In addition to his impressionist stand-up act, Once Bitten was released in mid-November 1985 and turned out to be a modest box office hit despite drawing poor reviews. Back on the comedy club circuit with impressions, in fall 1986, Carrey auditioned for SNL's upcoming season, his third attempt at getting on the ensemble sketch comedy show. Finally managing to perform for the show's executive producer Lorne Michaels at a Burbank studio, with returning cast members Dennis Miller, John Lovitz, and Nora Dunn also watching the audition, Carrey was rejected again. 41 Among the group of hopefuls auditioning alongside Carrey on this occasion were Dana Carvey and Phil Hartman, both of whom were hired. 41 Sensing that doing only impressions was turning into a career dead end, Carrey set out to develop a new live comedy act. 42 Much to the dismay of comedy club owners booking him, he began abandoning trademark celebrity impressions, opting instead to try adding observational and character humor to his comedic repertoire, a process that often involved forcing himself to improvise and scramble in front of dissatisfied live audiences that came to see him do impressions. 42 From 1990 to 1994, Carrey was a regular cast member of the ensemble comedy television series In Living Color. 43 The popularity of the series helped him to land his first few major film roles. 1994 to 1997, Rise to Fame. Carrey played the lead role in Ace Ventura, Pet Detective, which was released in February 1994 and went on to gross $72 million in the United States and Canada. 44 Following its success and before the release of his next film, The Mask, which was anticipated to be another hit, Morgan Creek Productions paid him $5 million to reprise his role as Ace Ventura, and New Line Cinema offered him $7 million to make a sequel to The Mask and paid him $7 million to appear in Dumb and Dumber, a nearly tenfold increase on his salary for Ace Ventura. 45-46 The Mask, released in July 1994, grossed $351 million worldwide. 47-48 and Dumb and Dumber, released in December 1994, was another commercial success, grossing over $270 million worldwide. 49 Carrey received his first Golden Globe Award nomination for Best Actor for his work in The Mask and was voted second on Quigley's Top 10 Money-Making Stars poll, behind Tom Hanks. 50. Carrey portrayed the Batman villain the Riddler in the Joel Schumacher-directed superhero film Batman Forever, 1995. The film received mixed reviews, but was a box office success. He reprised his role as Ace Ventura in Ace Ventura: When Nature Calls, which was also released in 1995. Like the original film, it was well received by the public, but poorly received by critics. It was a huge box office success, earning $212 million worldwide in addition to breaking records, with a $40 million opening weekend. 51 Carrey became the first comic actor to be paid an upfront salary of $20 million for his next film, The Cable Guy, 1996. 52-53 Directed by Ben Stiller, the film was a satirical black comedy, in which Carrey played a lonely, menacing cable TV installer who infiltrates the life of one of his customers, played by Matthew Broderick. The role was a departure from the hapless, hyper, overconfident characters he had been known for. However, it did not fare well with most critics, many reacting to Carrey's change of tone from previous films. 54 Carrey also starred in the music video of the film's closing song, Leave Me Alone by Jerry Cantrell. 55 Despite the reviews, The Cable Guy grossed $102 million worldwide. 56. He soon bounced back with the critically acclaimed comedy Liar Liar, 1997, playing Fletcher Reed, an unethical lawyer rendered unable to lie by his young son's birthday wish. Carrey was praised for his performance, earning a second Golden Globe Award nomination for Best Actor. Janet Maslin of the New York Times said, "Well into his tumultuous career, Mr. Carrey finally turns up in a straightforward comic vehicle, and the results are much wilder and funnier than this mundane material should have allowed." 57. 1998 to 1999, critical acclaim. The following year he decided to take a pay cut to play the serio-comic role of Truman Burbank in the satirical comedy drama film The Truman Show, 1998. 58 The film was highly praised and brought Carrey further international acclaim, leading many to believe he would be nominated for an Academy Award. 59 He won the Golden Globe Award for Best Actor in a Motion Picture Drama but did not receive an Academy Award nomination. The Truman Show was a commercial success, grossing $264 million worldwide against a budget of $60 million. 60-61 A Film 4 critics stated that the film allows Carrey to edge away from broad comedy, adding that it was a hilarious and breathtakingly conceived satire. 62. That same year, Carrey appeared as a fictionalized version of himself on the final episode of Gary Shandling's The Larry Sanders Show, in which he deliberately ripped into Shandling's character. In 1999, Carrey had the lead role in Man on the Moon. He portrayed comedian Andy Kaufman to critical acclaim and received his second Golden Globe in a row but again failed to be nominated for an Academy Award. 63 In addition, he received his first Screen Actors Guild Award nomination for Best Actor. 64. 2000 to 2011, established actor and diversification. In 2000, Carrey re-teamed with the Farrelly brothers, who had previously directed him in Dumb and Dumber, for the black comedy film Me, Myself and Irene, a film that received mixed reviews. 65 but enjoyed box office success. Carrey played the role of State Trooper Charlie Bailey Gates, who has multiple personalities and romances a woman portrayed by Renee Zellweger. That same year, Carrey starred in the second highest-grossing Christmas film of all time, How the Grinch Stole Christmas, playing the title character, for which he received both praise and criticism from critics alongside a Golden Globe nomination. 66. For his next feature film, Carrey starred opposite Jennifer Aniston and Morgan Freeman in Tom Shadyack's international hit comedy Bruce Almighty, 2003. Carrey played a television newsman who unexpectedly receives God's omnipotent abilities when the deity decides to take a vacation. The film received mixed reviews upon release 67 but still became a financial success, earning over $484 million worldwide, and going on to become the 17th highest grossing live-action comedy of all time. 68-69. In 2004, Carrey starred in Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. The film received critical acclaim upon release. Critics highly praised Carrey's portrayal of Joel Barish, in addition to the performance of his co-star Kate Winslet, who was nominated for an Oscar. According to CNN's reviewer Paul Clinton, Carrey's performance was the actor's best, most mature and sharply focused performance ever. 70. Carrey received another Golden Globe nomination and his first BAFTA Award nomination for Best Actor. Carrey's next appearance was in the 2004 black comedy fantasy film Lemony Snicket's A Series of Unfortunate Events, which was based on the children's novels of the same name. The film was positively received. Desson Thompson from The Washington Post said of Carrey's approach to the character of Count Olaf. Olaf is a humorless villain in the book. He's not amusing like Carrey at all. To which I would counter, if you can't let Carrey be Carrey, put someone boring and less expensive in the role. In his various disguises he's rubbery, inventive, and improvisationally inspired. I particularly liked his passing imitation of a dinosaur. 71-72. That same year, Carrey was inducted into the Canadian Walk of Fame. 73. In 2005, Carrey starred in the remake of Fun with Dick and Jane with T. Leone, which grossed $200 million with a profit of $100 million. 74. Carrey was initially cast to provide the voice of RJ for the DreamWorks animation film Over the Hedge, but he ultimately quit the project because he was uncomfortable with not having full control over his character's physical and facial movements. 75. 76. 77. Carrey walking into the Ed Sullivan Theater, venue for The Late Show with David Letterman. In 2010, he is on 53rd Street, behind him is the Broadway Theater, 53rd Street. Carrey walking into the Ed Sullivan Theater, venue for The Late Show with David Letterman. In 2010, Carrey reunited with Joel Schumacher, director of Batman Forever, for The Number 23, 2007, a psychological thriller co-starring Virginia Madsen and Danny Huston. In the film, Carrey plays a man who becomes obsessed with the number 23, after finding a book about a man with the same obsession. The film was panned by critics. The following year Carrey provided his voice for Dr. Seuss Horton Hears a Who. 2008. Carrey voiced Horton the Elephant for the CGI animated feature, which was a box office success, grossing over $290 million worldwide. 78. Carrey returned to live-action comedy, starring opposite Zooey Deschanel and Bradley Cooper in Yes Man, also 2008. Carrey played a man who signs up for a self-help program that teaches him to say yes to everything. Despite reviews being mixed, Renee Rodriguez of the Miami Herald stated, "Yes Man is fine as far as Jim Carrey comedies go, but it's even better as a love story that just happens to make you laugh." 79. The film earned $225 million at the box office worldwide. 80. Carrey in Spain in 2008. Since 2009, Carrey's work has included a leading role in Glenn Ficarra and John Requa's I Love You Philip Morris, premiering in January 2009 at the Sundance Film Festival before receiving a wide release in February 2010. Carrey portrayed Stephen J. Russell, a con artist, imposter, and multiple prison escapee who falls in love with his fellow inmate, Philip Morris, played by Ewan McGregor. The film received largely positive reviews, with Damon Wise of The Times giving the film 4 stars out of 5, stating, "I love you. Philip Morris is an extraordinary film that serves as a reminder of just how good Carrey can be when he's not tied into a generic Hollywood crowd pleaser. His comic timing remains as exquisite as ever." 81. For the first time in his career, Carrey portrayed multiple characters in Disney's 3D animated take on the classic Charles Dickens tale, A Christmas Carol, 2009, voicing Ebenezer Scrooge and the ghosts of Christmas past, present, and future. Directed by Robert Zemeckis, the film also starred Robin Wright Penn, Bob Hoskins, Colin Firth, Gary Oldman, and Cary Elwes. The film received decent reviews and was a financial success. Carrey landed the lead role in Mr. Popper's Penguins, 2011, playing Tom Popper Jr., a realtor who becomes the caretaker of a family of penguins. The film received a mixed reception upon release. 82. Carrey in 2011. 2012 to 2018, change in pace. He starred alongside former co-star Steve Carell in the Don Scardino-directed comedy film The Incredible Burt Wonderstone, 2013. Carrey played Steve Gray, a dangerous street magician who overshadows the formerly successful magician Burt Wonderstone, played by Carell. The film was released in March 2013 to mixed reviews and underperformed significantly at the box office, grossing just over $27 million on a $30 million budget. 83. Around the same time, he appeared in Kick-Ass 2, also 2013, as Colonel Stars and Stripes. He retracted support for the film 2 months prior to its release. He issued a statement via his Twitter account that, in light of the Sandy Hook Elementary School shooting, now in all good conscience I cannot support that level of violence. 84. Peter Farrelly said in April 2012 that Carrey and Jeff Daniels would return for a Dumb and Dumber sequel, Dumb and Dumber 2, with the Farrelly brothers writing and directing and a planned September 2012 production start. 85. In June, however, Carrey's representative said Carrey had left the project because the comedian felt New Line and Warner Brothers were unenthusiastic toward it. 86. However, on October 1, 2012, Yahoo's The Yo Show carried the news item that the script was complete and that the original actors, Carrey and Daniels, would be reprising their roles. The plot involved one of the characters having sired a child and needing to find them to obtain a kidney. 87. 88. Dumb and Dumber 2 was released in November 2014. In March 2013, Carrey announced that he had written a children's book titled How Roland Rolls, about a scared wave named Roland. He described it as kind of a metaphysical children's story, which deals with a lot of heavy stuff in a really childish way. Carrey self-published the book, which was released in September 2013. 89. 90. On March 25, 2013, Carrey released a parody music video with Eels through Funny or Die, with Carrey replacing Mark Oliver Everett on vocals. The song and video, titled Cold Dead Hand and set as a musical act during the variety program Hee Haw, lampoons American gun culture, and specifically former NRA spokesperson Charlton Heston. 91. Carrey delivered the commencement address at Maharishi University of Management in Fairfield, Iowa, in May 2014 and received an honorary doctorate for his achievements as a comedian, artist, author, and philanthropist. 92. On August 29, 2014, Carrey was honored by Canada Post with a limited edition postage stamp with his portrait on it. 93. Carrey was a producer on Rubble Kings, a 2015 documentary film that depicts events preceding and following the Howe Avenue peace meeting. 94. In June 2017, Showtime began airing the dramedy I'm Dying Up Here, for which Carrey served as the executive producer. The show, which chronicles a group of stand-up comics in 1970s Los Angeles, incorporates aspects of Carrey's own experience. 95. In September of that year, that same network announced that he would star in a comedy series titled Kidding, which would reunite Carrey and director Michel Gondry. 96 By the end of 2017, it was announced that Catherine Keener would star opposite Carrey in Kidding. 97 The series lasted 2 seasons. Carrey was also the subject of 2 documentaries in 2017. The first, a short subject entitled I Needed Color about his lifelong passion for art, was released online in the summer. 98 Later that year another documentary, Jim and Andy, The Great Beyond, featuring a very special, contractually obligated mention of Tony Clifton, premiered at the Venice Film Festival and was later picked up by Netflix. 99 The film chronicles the behind-the-scenes drama during the shooting of Man on the Moon, when he never broke character as Andy Kaufman. 100 It incorporates footage that was shot for the film's electronic press kit 100 but ultimately pulled by Universal as they felt that it was too damaging. 101. 2019, present, return to mainstream. Carrey at the 2019 Golden Globes. In June 2018, Carrey was cast as Dr. Ivo Robotnik, the main antagonist of the Sonic the Hedgehog video game series, in a film adaptation of the franchise. The film was released in February 2020 to positive reviews. 102 Carrey's portrayal of Ivo Robotnik was praised, with some considering it one of his best performances in years. 103 104 Carrey returned for Sonic the Hedgehog 2, released in April 2022. 105 which grossed $72 million at the US box office in its opening weekend to give Carrey the best opening of his career to date. 106. In 2020, Carrey published Memoirs and Misinformation. 107 In September, during the final stages of the 2020 US presidential election, it was announced that Carrey would portray presidential nominee Joe Biden on the 46th season of Saturday Night Live, taking over the role from Jason Sudeikis, Woody Harrelson and John Mulaney. 108 109 However, many felt Carrey's high-energy comedy style clashed with the real-life Biden's low-key persona, producing an imitation that lacked authenticity, and failed to impress viewers and critics. 110 111 112 113 114 On December 19, 2020, Carrey announced that he would step down from playing Biden on Saturday Night Live, stating that he had a 6-week deal. 115 116 Cast member Alex Moffat succeeded Carrey in portraying Biden during the cold open of the episode hosted by Kristen Wiig on the same day. 117 Carrey appeared as the narrator of The Weeknd's album Dawn FM, released on January 7, 2022. 118. In April 2022, Carrey announced that he was considering retirement, saying, "I have enough. I've done enough. I am enough." He said he would return to acting if angels bring some sort of script that's written in gold ink that says to me that it's going to be really important for people to see. 119 In February 2024, it was announced that Carrey would reprise his role as Dr. Ivo Robotnik in Sonic the Hedgehog 3. 120 A copy of the script for Sonic the Hedgehog 3 was delivered to Carrey written in 24-karat ink in reference to his previous comments. 121 Carrey also plays Ivo Robotnik's grandfather, Gerald Robotnik. 122 Carrey reportedly told an Associated Press reporter that he agreed to return to the Sonic universe because "I need the money, frankly." 123. He later clarified in interviews in December 2024 that he planned to power rest rather than retire, while also stating that he was open to continuing his role in the Sonic film series. 124 125. 2026 Honorary César appearance. In February 2026, Carrey was awarded an Honorary César from the French Académie des Arts et Techniques du Cinéma. He appeared at the ceremony after a long absence from public life and looked and behaved significantly differently enough for some media to say that he was nearly unrecognizable. 126-127 His acceptance speech was delivered entirely in French, in which he recalled his family's French roots. 128. The internet was divided after makeup artist and impersonator Alexa Stone had said that he had transformed into Carrey that day. 129-130 Despite that, Carrey's representative stated that the actor had been at the ceremony and he had accepted his award. Gregory Collier, the organizer of the César Awards, commented on the controversy with "For me, it's a non-issue." He noted that Carrey had been working on his speech for months. 131. Personal life. Carrey has depression and took Prozac to combat the symptoms for years. He later said that he no longer takes medications of any kind and abstains from coffee, alcohol, and drugs. 132. He received U.S. citizenship in October 2004 and remains a dual citizen of the United States and his native Canada. 133. Carrey owns various properties in Los Angeles and has lived in Brentwood since 1994. 134 In November 2022, the Russian Ministry of Foreign Affairs banned 100 Canadians, including Carrey, from entering Russia as a reciprocity for the international sanctions which had been introduced due to the 2022 Russian invasion of Ukraine. 135. Relationships. Carrey with his family at the Horton Hears a Who. Premiere in 2008. Carrey dated singer Linda Ronstadt for 8 months in 1983. 136 On March 28, 1987, Carrey married former actress and Comedy Store waitress Melissa Womer. The couple had one daughter. 137 Carrey and Womer divorced in 1995. 138. On September 23, 1996, Carrey married his Dumb and Dumber co-star Lauren Holly. This second marriage lasted less than a year. 139 From 1999 to 2000, Carrey was engaged to his Me, Myself, and Irene co-star Renee Zellweger. 140 In 2002, he was in a relationship with January Jones. 141 In 2005, Carrey met model and actress Jenny McCarthy, and he made public in June 2006 that they were in a romantic relationship. They ended it in April 2010. 142 with McCarthy noting in October 2010 that they had remained good friends. 143 In early 2011, Carrey was seen holding hands with America's Next Top Model contestant Anchal Joseph, leading to speculation that the two were dating. 144. In 2012, Carrey met Catriona White, a makeup artist from County Tipperary, Ireland. 145 They dated between 2012 and 2015. On September 28, 2015, White was found dead from a prescription drug overdose. The death was ruled a suicide by the Los Angeles County Medical Examiner. 146 Carrey was a pallbearer at her funeral in Capowite, Ireland. 147 In January 2019 when Carrey attended the Golden Globes 2019 party, he was accompanied by his then-girlfriend Ginger Gonzaga. 148-149 The couple split after less than a year of dating. 150. While accepting an honorary César in 2026, he revealed his longtime relationship with a woman named Min Ah, whom he called his sublime companion. 151. Wrongful death lawsuits. Carrey's girlfriend Catriona White married Mark Burton in 2013, in Las Vegas. She and Carrey had been dating on and off since 2012, and she was still married but dating Carrey when she died in 2015. 152 On September 19, 2016, Burton filed a wrongful death lawsuit against Carrey, claiming that he had used his immense wealth and celebrity status to illegally obtain and distribute prescription drugs involved in White's death. Carrey released a statement the following day. "What a terrible shame. It would be easy for me to get in a back room with this man's lawyer and make this go away, but there are some moments in life when you have to stand up and defend your honor against the evil in this world. I will not tolerate this heartless attempt to exploit me or the woman I loved. Kat's troubles were born long before I met her, and sadly her tragic end was beyond anyone's control. I really hope that someday soon people will stop trying to profit from this and let her rest in peace. 153-154. In October 2016, White's mother, Bridget Sweetman, also filed a wrongful death lawsuit against Carrey. 155. Both lawsuits were dismissed on January 25, 2018, and attorneys for both sides confirmed there would be no further legal proceedings. 156-157. Vaccine skepticism and connection to autism. In 2009, Carrey wrote an article questioning the merits of vaccination and its connection to autism for the Huffington Post. 158. With former partner Jenny McCarthy, Carrey led a Green Our Vaccines march in Washington, D.C., to advocate for the removal of toxic substances from children's vaccines, out of a belief that children had received too many vaccines, too soon, many of which are toxic. 159. The rally was criticized by David Gorski, an American surgical oncologist on Science-Based Medicine blog, for being anti-vaccine and not pro-safe vaccine, 160, and by Stephen Parker on the WebMD website for being irresponsible. 161. In 2009, the couple appeared on Larry King Live to discuss autism. Carrey stated that he believes autism is preventable and treatable, and that it's still shocking to see how many people are ignoring this information. Carrey suggested rising autism rates was a warning about the medical industry, stating, "There's an autistic child on every block. Autism is the canary in the coal mine. I believe that it's telling us that this vaccine program is imbalanced." 162. On July 1, 2015, after the signing of a new vaccination law, Carrey called California Governor Jerry Brown a corporate fascist who was poisoning children by enacting the vaccination requirements. 163. The law disallowed religious and philosophical reasons for exemption from vaccination. Carrey was criticized for being ignorant when it comes to vaccines by Arthur Kaplan, head of the Division of Medical Ethics at New York University. 164. And by Jeffrey Kluger, senior writer at Time, who described his anti-vaccination statements as angry, dense, and immune to reason. 165. Political and spiritual views. Carrey is an outspoken advocate of the law of attraction. In an interview with Oprah Winfrey on February 17, 1997, 166, he revealed that as a struggling actor he would use visualization techniques to get work. He also stated that he visualized a $10 million check given to him for acting services rendered, placed the check in his pocket, and 7 years later received a $10 million check for his role in Dumb and Dumber. 167. Carrey practices transcendental meditation. 168. 169. Carrey appeared alongside Eckhart Tolle at an event in 2009. He shared that through studying Tolle's teachings, he had a spiritual experience. "I was no longer a fragment of the universe. I was the universe." 170. He also paid tribute to Tolle by impersonating him. 171. Carrey has also advocated for socialism and has urged the Democratic Party to embrace the movement, saying, "We have to say yes to socialism, to the word and everything. We have to stop apologizing." 172. Carrey has shared his own political cartoon drawings since August 2017, including controversial renderings of President Donald Trump, and then White House Press Secretary Sarah Huckabee Sanders. 173. He sparked an international event on March 31, 2019, posting a drawing criticizing fascism by depicting Benito Mussolini's infamous death with Clara Petacci. This irked Mussolini's granddaughter Alessandra, who chided him on Twitter, calling him a bastard and his artwork dirty paper. 175 His drawing repertoire culminated in an exhibition titled Indignation, which opened on October 23, 2018, at the Macaroni Gallery in Los Angeles and featured 108 pen and ink drawings from Carrey's Twitter feed from 2016 to 2018. 176 In February 2021, Carrey announced he would discontinue political cartoons. 177. In a 2004 interview with 60 Minutes, Carrey reportedly said, "I'm a Buddhist, I'm a Muslim, I'm a Christian." 178. In June 2017, Carrey delivered a speech at a Homeboy Industries event, where he said, "I want to speak to the fact that I believe that this room is filled with God, and that you are heroes to me and I admire you." He also said, "You've made the decision to walk through the gate of forgiveness, of grace, just as Christ did on the cross." 179. Artwork. In 2017, Carrey revealed that he had been painting for the past 6 years. In 2011, he exhibited the painting Nothing to See Here in an art show in Palm Springs at the Heather James Fine Art Gallery. 180. In 2017, Carrey released a 6-minute documentary entitled I Needed Color, which showed him working in his studio. The Ghost of Christmas Past is a fictional character in Charles Dickens' 1843 novella A Christmas Carol. The ghost is one of 3 spirits that appear to miser Ebenezer Scrooge to offer him a chance of redemption. Following a visit from the ghost of his deceased business partner, Jacob Marley, Scrooge receives nocturnal visits from 3 ghosts of Christmas, each representing a different period in Scrooge's life. The Ghost of Christmas Past is concerned with the Christmases from Scrooge's past. 1. Appearing to be both young and old, the spirit carries a large cap in the shape of a candle extinguisher under its arm. From the top of its head shines a bright light that illuminates Scrooge's memories. Background. A man with shoulder-length black hair. Dickens' portrait by Margaret Gillies, 1843, painted during the period when he was writing A Christmas Carol. By early 1843, Dickens had been affected by the treatment of the poor and, in particular, the treatment of the children of the poor after witnessing children working in appalling conditions in a tin mine to and following a visit to a ragged school. 3. Indeed, Dickens experienced poverty as a boy when he was forced to work in a blacking factory after his father's imprisonment for debt. Originally intending to write a political pamphlet titled, An Appeal to the People of England, on behalf of the poor man's child, he changed his mind and instead wrote A Christmas Carol 5, which voiced his social concerns about poverty and injustice. 6-7 Dickens's friend John Forster said that Dickens had a hankering after ghosts while not having a belief in them himself. His journals Household Words and All the Year Round regularly featured ghost stories, with the novelist publishing an annual ghost story for several years after his first, A Christmas Carol, in 1843. In this novella, Dickens was innovative in making the existence of the supernatural a natural extension of the real world in which Scrooge and his contemporaries lived. 1. Significance to the story. The Ghost of Christmas Past is a strange, otherworldly creature that shimmers and flickers like a candle light, constantly changing in appearance as it reflects Scrooge's memories, old and new. As one memory comes sharply into focus, another fades. As the spirit represents Scrooge's youth, so it can appear youthful. Its skin is of the tenderest blue mate, but as Scrooge is now old, the spirit will also appear old to reflect this. 9. The ghost's clothing continues in the same contradictory vein as it holds a branch of holly, which symbolizes winter, while its robe is trimmed with summer flowers. 10. In addition, the constantly changing aspect of the spirit may be attributed to representing the various other people seen in the visions revealed to Scrooge. 11. The Spirit of Christmas Past meets Scrooge, illustration by Soul Eating Jr. 1868. It was a strange figure like a child, yet not so like a child as like an old man, viewed through some supernatural medium, which gave him the appearance of having receded from the view, and being diminished to a child's proportions. Its hair, which hung about its neck and down its back, was white as if with age, and yet the face had not a wrinkle in it, and the tenderest bloom was on the skin. The arms were very long and muscular, the hands the same, as if its hold were of uncommon strength. Its legs and feet, most delicately formed, were, like those upper members, bare. But the strangest thing about it was, that from the crown of its head there sprung a bright clear jet of light, by which all this was visible, and which was doubtless the occasion of its using, in its duller moments, a great extinguisher for a cap, which it now held under its arm. Even this, though, when Scrooge looked at it with increasing steadiness, was not its strangest quality. For as its belt sparkled and glittered now in one part and now in another, and what was light one instant, at another time was dark, so the figure itself fluctuated in its distinctness, being now a thing with one arm, now with one leg, now with 20 legs, now a pair of legs without a head, now a head without a body, of which dissolving parts, no outline would be visible in the dense gloom wherein they melted away. And in the very wonder of this, it would be itself again, distinct and clear as ever. 8. When Scrooge demands to know its business, the spirit replies, "Your welfare." When Scrooge demurs that he would rather benefit from a good night's sleep, the spirit responds, "Your reclamation, then. Take heed." 8. The first of the three spirits, illustration by Harry Furness, 1910. Visions of the past. Although seemingly gentle and ethereal, the spirit is deceptively strong, putting out its strong hand as it spoke and gently clasped him by the arm. "Rise and walk with me." Scrooge worries that he is liable to fall, but the spirit invites him to fly. Scrooge shows the first flicker of emotion when shown the vision of his unhappy childhood that the spirit reveals to him, particularly when he sees his school friends, and he again sees his younger sister, Fan. Scrooge becomes even more animated at the Christmas Eve celebrations during the time of his apprenticeship to Mr. Fetziwig. Scrooge shows a further awakening of his human nature when the spirit asks, "A small matter," said the ghost, "to make these silly folks so full of gratitude." The spirit signed to him to listen to the two apprentices, who were pouring out their hearts in praise of Fetziwig, and when he had done so, said, "What? Is it not? He has spent but a few pounds of your mortal money, 3 or 4 perhaps. Is that so much that he deserves this praise?" "It isn't that," said Scrooge, heated by the remark, and speaking unconsciously like his former, not his latter, self. "It isn't that, spirit. He has the power to render us happy or unhappy, to make our service light or burdensome, a pleasure or a toil. Say that his power lies in words and looks, in things so slight and insignificant that it is impossible to add and count them up, what then? The happiness he gives, is quite as great as if it cost a fortune." He felt the spirit's glance, and stopped. 8. Scrooge has been allowed to consider the benefits of being a good and generous employer, as Fetziwig was, and comes to regret mistreating his clerk, Bob Cratchit. 12. The spirit then shows Scrooge his subsequent painful parting from his fiancée Belle and a now married Belle with her large, happy family on the Christmas Eve that Marley died. 13. When Scrooge becomes upset by these memories, the spirit says, "These are the shadows of the things that have been. That they are what they are, do not blame me." When Scrooge asks the ghost to remove him from the house, he turned upon the ghost, and seeing that it looked upon him with a face, in which in some strange way there were fragments of all the faces it had shown him, Scrooge wrestles with the ghost, crying out, "Leave me! Take me back! Haunt me no longer!" and seizes the spirit's cap. In the struggle, if that can be called a struggle in which the ghost with no visible resistance on its own part was undisturbed by any effort of its adversary, Scrooge observed that its light was burning high and bright, and dimly connecting that with its influence over him, he seized the extinguisher cap, and by a sudden action pressed it down upon its head. 8. Notable portrayals. Dickens refers to the spirit as it, implying the ghost is neither male nor female, which has posed problems for dramatists from the novella's first stage productions up to television and film productions, having been portrayed by male and female actors, old and young. Sir Gary Leonard Oldman, born March 21, 1958, is an English actor and filmmaker. Known for his versatility and intense acting style, he has received various accolades, including an Academy Award, a Golden Globe Award, 3 British Academy Film Awards and nominations for 3 Primetime Emmy Awards. His films have grossed over $11 billion worldwide, making him one of the highest-grossing actors of all time. 1. Oldman began acting in theater in 1979 and made his film debut in Remembrance, 1982. He appeared in the Royal Court Theatre in London and was a member of the Royal Shakespeare Company, with credits including Cabaret, Romeo and Juliet, entertaining Mr. Sloane, Saved, The Country Wife and Hamlet. He rose to prominence in British film with his portrayals of Sid Vicious in Sid and Nancy, 1986, Joe Orton in Prick Up Your Ears, 1987, and Rosencrantz in Rosencrantz and Guildenstern Are Dead, 1990. Regarded as a member of the Brit Pack, 2, he achieved greater recognition as an American gangster in State of Grace, 1990, Lee Harvey Oswald in JFK, 1991, and Count Dracula in Bram Stoker's Dracula, 1992. Oldman portrayed villainous roles in True Romance, 1993, Leon, The Professional, 1994, The Fifth Element, 1997, Air Force One, 1997, and The Contender, 2000. He has also played franchise roles such as Sirius Black in the Harry Potter series, 2004 to 2011, James Gordon in the Dark Knight trilogy, 2005 to 2012, Lord Shen in Kung Fu Panda 2, 2011, and Dreyfus in Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, 2014. He won the Academy Award for Best Actor for his role as Sir Winston Churchill in the historical drama Darkest Hour, 2017. He was nominated for an Academy Award for his portrayals of George Smiley in the thriller Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy, 2011, and Herman J. Mankiewicz in the drama Mank, 2020. Oldman also wrote and directed the film Nil by Mouth, 1997. He starred in the BBC television film The Firm, 1989. Since 2022 he has starred as Jackson Lamb, a cantankerous British spy, in the Apple TV Plus thriller series Slow Horses, a role for which he was nominated for the Primetime Emmy Award for Outstanding Lead Actor in a Drama Series. He also earned an Emmy nomination for his guest role as an inebriated actor on the NBC sitcom Friends in 2001. He has also acted in music videos for David Bowie, Guns N' Roses and Annie Lennox. He was made a Knight Bachelor by King Charles III in the 2025 birthday honors. Early life and education. Gary Leonard Oldman III was born in New Cross, London, on March 21, 1958, the son of Leonard Bertram Oldman, 1921–1985, a former sailor who also worked as a welder, and Kathleen, née Sheraton, 1919–2018. 6. He said his father was an alcoholic who left the family when Oldman was 7 years old. 7. His older sister, Maureen, is an actress better known as Lila Morse. She performed in Oldman's directorial debut Nil by Mouth, 1997, before taking on her most famous role of M.O. Harris in the BBC soap opera EastEnders. 8. Oldman attended West Greenwich School in Deptford, leaving at the age of 16 to work in a sports shop. 9. He played piano as a child, but he gave up his musical aspirations to pursue an acting career after seeing Malcolm McDowell's performance in the film The Raging Moon, 1971. 10, 11, 12. In a 1995 interview with Charlie Rose he said, "Something about Malcolm just arrested me, and I connected, and I said, I want to do that." 10. Growing up in South London, Oldman supported his local football club, Millwall, but also followed Manchester United because he idolized George Best. 8. In 2011 he learned from his mother that his father had played for Millwall just after the Second World War. Just after the war, my mother ran a boarding house for football players, Millwall players. And I knew that my dad was involved somehow with the reserve team. But 2 weeks ago my mum said, "Oh yeah, your dad played for Millwall. When he was young he had a couple of first team games." 8. Oldman studied with the Young People's Theatre in Greenwich during the mid-1970s. 613 while working jobs on assembly lines, as a porter in an operating theatre, selling shoes, and beheading pigs in an abattoir. 6. He applied unsuccessfully to the Royal Academy of Dramatic Art, RADA, which welcomed him to try again the following year, but advised him to find something else to do for a living. 610 when asked by Rose whether he had reminded the RADA of this, Oldman joked that the work speaks for itself. 10. Oldman won a scholarship to attend Rose Bruford College in Sidcup, southeast London, from which he graduated with a BA in acting in 1979. 613 he described himself as a shy but diligent worker during his time there, performing roles such as Puck in William Shakespeare's A Midsummer Night's Dream. 14. Career 1979 to 1985, early roles and theater work. After leaving drama school, Oldman was the first in his year to receive professional work. 14 he stated that this was not a result of being the most talented actor, but rather diligence and application. 14-15 in 1979 he starred in The Ark, opposite Annette Kerr, at York Theatre Royal. 16 subsequent plays included Cabaret, Privates on Parade and Romeo and Juliet. 17 in December 1979 Oldman appeared as Puss in Dick Whittington and His Cat, staged at York. 18 he also acted in Colchester, then with the Citizens Theatre in Glasgow. 6 Oldman's work ethic and trademark intensity would make him a favourite with audiences in Glasgow during the 1980s. He also toured Europe and South America with the Citizens Theatre Company. 13. From 1980 to 1981 Oldman appeared in The Massacre at Paris, Christopher Marlowe, Desperado Corner, Sean Lawton, and Robert David MacDonald's plays Chinchilla and A Waste of Time. He performed in a 6-month West End run of MacDonald's Summit Conference, opposite Glenda Jackson, in 1982. 6 Also that year, Oldman made his film debut in Colin Gregg's Remembrance, and would have starred in Don Boyd's Gossip if that film had not collapsed. The following year, he landed a starring role as a skinhead in Mike Leigh's film Meantime, and moved on to Chesterfield to assume the lead role in entertaining Mr. Sloane, Joe Orton. He then went to Westcliff to star in Saved, Edward Bond. 6. Saved proved to be a major breakthrough for Oldman. Max Stafford Clark, artistic director of the Royal Court Theatre, had seen Oldman's performance and cast him as Scopy, the lead role of Bond's The Pope's Wedding, in 1984. 6 For his acclaimed performance, he won 2 of British theatre's top honours, the Time Out Fringe Award for Best Newcomer, and the Drama Theatre Award for Best Actor, the latter of which was shared with his future film co-star Anthony Hopkins for his performance in Pravda. 6-13-19 Oldman's turn in The Pope's Wedding led to a run of work with the Royal Court, and from 1984 to 1986 he appeared in Rat in the Skull, Ron Hutchinson, The Desert Heir, Nicholas Wright, Cain and Abel, The Danton Affair, Pam Gems, Women Beware Women, Thomas Middleton, Real Dreams, Trevor Griffiths, and all 3 of Bond's The War plays, Red, Black and Ignorant, The Tin Can People and Great Peace. 6 Oldman was a member of the Royal Shakespeare Company from 1985 to 1986. 20. 1986 to 1993, rise to prominence and breakthrough. The 1984 production of The Pope's Wedding had been seen by the director Alex Cox, who offered Oldman the part of the musician Sid Vicious in the 1986 film Sid and Nancy. He twice turned down the role before accepting it, because, in his own words, I wasn't really that interested in Sid Vicious and the punk movement. I'd never followed it. It wasn't something that interested me. The script I felt was banal and who cares and why bother and all of that. and I was a little bit sort of with my nose in the air and sort of thinking, well, the theater's so much more superior and all of that. He reconsidered based on the salary and the urging of his agent. 21. In 1987 Oldman gained his third starring film role as Joe Orton in Prick Up Your Ears, for which he received a BAFTA nomination for Best Actor. That same year, he appeared in the plays The Country Wife, William Wycherley, and Serious Money, Carol Churchill. 6. The film director Luc Besson told how, on the set of The Fifth Element, 1997, Oldman could recite any scene from Hamlet, William Shakespeare, in which he had starred a decade earlier. 22. Oldman's performances in Sid and Nancy and Prick Up Your Ears paved the way for work in Hollywood, garnering acclaim from the American film critic Roger Ebert. Ebert wrote, "There is no point of similarity between the two performances. Like a few gifted actors, Oldman is able to reinvent himself for every role. On the basis of these two movies, he is the best young British actor around." 23. Vicious former Sex Pistols bandmate John Lydon, despite criticizing Sid and Nancy, described Oldman as a bloody good actor. 24. The performance would go on to be ranked number 62 in Premiere Magazine's 100 Greatest Performances of All Time 25 and number 8 in Uncut Magazine's 10 Best Actors in Rock and Rolls, the latter describing Oldman's portrayal as a hugely sympathetic reading of the punk figurehead as a lost and bewildered man-child. 26. In late 1988 he starred opposite the hero Alan Bates 10 in We Think the World of You, and in 1989 alongside Dennis Hopper and Frances McDormand in The Chattahoochee. Also in 1989, Oldman also starred as the football hooligan Clive Bexbissel in the controversial British television drama The Firm 27, giving a performance that Total Film numbered as his best and called stunning and fearless in 2011. 28. Oldman and other young British actors of the 1980s who were becoming established Hollywood film actors, such as Tim Roth, Bruce Payne, Colin Firth, Daniel Day-Lewis, and Paul McGann, were dubbed the Brit Pack, 29 of which Oldman was de facto leader. 30. In 1990 Oldman co-starred with Tim Roth in Rosencrantz and Guildenstern Are Dead, Tom Stoppard's film adaptation of his own play of the same name. Total Film praised the film, calling Oldman's character a blitz of brilliant comedy timing and pitch-perfect line delivery. 31. He then starred opposite Sean Penn and Ed Harris in State of Grace, 1990. Roger Ebert described Oldman's turn as the highlight. 32. And Janet Maslin referred to his work as phenomenal. 33. He was offered, but turned down, the lead role in that year's Edward Scissorhands. 34. Oldman moved to the United States in the early 1990s, where he has resided since. 35. In 1991 he began filming Dylan Thomas, a biopic on the Welsh poet Dylan Thomas, with his then-wife Uma Thurman as Caitlin Thomas. Production shut down shortly after filming began. 36. Later in 1991, Oldman starred in his first U.S. blockbuster, playing Lee Harvey Oswald in Oliver Stone's JFK. According to Oldman, very little was written about Oswald in the script. Stone gave him several plane tickets, a list of contacts, and told him to do his own research. 37. Oldman met Oswald's wife, Marina, and her two daughters to prepare for the role. 38. He filmed scenes for the 1992 neo-noir thriller Final Analysis, which were cut. 39. In 1992 he starred as Count Dracula in Francis Ford Coppola's romance horror Bram Stoker's Dracula. A commercially successful film adaptation of Bram Stoker's 1897 novel 40, it was a box office success worldwide. Oldman's performance was recognized as the best male performance of 1992 by the Academy of Science Fiction, Fantasy and Horror Films, which awarded Oldman its Best Actor award. 41. He served as a member of the jury at the 1993 Cannes Film Festival. 42. Oldman became a popular portrayer of villains. 19. He played the violent pimp Drexel Spivey in the Tony Scott-directed, Quentin Tarantino-written True Romance, 1993, a role which MSN Movies described as one of cinema's most memorable villains. 43 A sadistic prison warden in Murder in the First, 1995, futuristic corporate tyrant Jean-Baptiste Emmanuel Zorg in The Fifth Element, 1997, and Dr. Zachary Smith/Spider Smith in the commercially successful but critically panned Lost in Space, 1998. He was considered for 2 roles in Quentin Tarantino's Pulp Fiction, 1994, but neither were realized. Tarantino contemplated Oldman as the gangster Jules Winfield, played by Samuel L. Jackson, 44, while TriStar executives recommended him for drug dealer Lance, portrayed by Eric Stoltz. 45-46. 1994 to 2003, established actor. Oldman in 2000. In Leon, the Professional, 1994, he played the corrupt U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration officer Norman Stansfield, which has since been named by multiple publications as one of the best villains. 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53 and most corrupt police officers. 54, 55, 56 in cinema. He starred as Arthur Dimmesdale in The Scarlet Letter, 1995. Oldman also portrayed various accents, along with the Transylvanian Count Dracula. He gave a critically acclaimed reading of Ludwig van Beethoven in Immortal Beloved 57 and played the Russian terrorist Edgar Korshunov in the 1997 blockbuster Air Force One. In 1998, MTV's Celebrity Deathmatch aired a match between claymation representations of Oldman and Christopher Walken to determine the greatest cinematic villain. 58 The following year, Oldman served as executive producer of Plunkett and MacLean of 59 and portrayed another historical figure, Pontius Pilate, in the television film Jesus. He was also considered for the role of Morpheus in The Matrix. 60. Oldman appeared opposite Jeff Bridges as the zealous American Republican Party Congressman Sheldon Runyon in The Contender, 2000, of which he was also executive producer. 61 Oldman received a Screen Actors Guild Award nomination for his performance, although some claimed he was dissatisfied with DreamWorks' supposed editing of the film to reflect pro-Democratic Party leanings. These reports were declared sloppy sensationalism by his manager, Douglas Urbanski, who said that Oldman was the least political person I know. He stressed that neither he nor Oldman had made the statements attributed to them, that they had produced this film, every last cut and frame, and that DreamWorks did not influence the final cut or have anything to do with it. Urbanski said that Oldman received creepy phone calls advising him that he was ruining his chances of an Oscar nomination. The notion of Oldman criticizing DreamWorks was dispelled as a myth by the film critic Roger Ebert. 62. In 2001 he appeared opposite Anthony Hopkins in Hannibal as Mason Verger, the only surviving victim of Hannibal Lecter. He spent 6 hours per day in the makeup room to achieve the character's disfigured appearance, and went uncredited in the film. 63 It marked the second time that Oldman had appeared opposite Hopkins, who was part of the supporting cast of Bram Stoker's Dracula. Oldman then returned to television, making 2 guest appearances in the popular NBC sitcom Friends in May 2001, appearing in the 2-part episode The One with Chandler and Monica's Wedding as Richard Crosby, a pedantic actor who insists that real actors spit on one another when they enunciate, leading to tension, then friendship, with Joey Tribbiani, Matt LeBlanc. Oldman had previously worked with LeBlanc on Lost in Space. 64 For his performance he earned a nomination for a Primetime Emmy Award for Outstanding Guest Actor in a Comedy Series, losing to Derek Jacobi for his role on Frasier, 2001. 65. Following his Friends appearance, Oldman did not appear in any major roles until 2004. It was suggested that he was blacklisted in Hollywood during this time. 66 Following the controversy that had surrounded the release of The Contender. In 2002 he starred in the generally well-received Interstate 60, and played the devil in the BMW short film The Hire, Beat the Devil. The Guardian writer Zan Brooks described the early 2000s as Oldman's low point, recalling barrel-scraping roles in the 2003 films Tiptoes and Sin. 67 Although the film failed to impress reviewers, Oldman did garner some praise for his portrayal of a man with dwarfism in Tiptoes. Lisa Ness Elson in Variety described his work as astonishingly fine, 68, and the performance was later mentioned in Mark Kermode's Great Acting in Bad Films. 69. 2004 to 2012, franchise roles and acclaim. Oldman at the 2009 San Diego Comic-Con. In 2004, Oldman returned to prominence when he landed a starring role in the Harry Potter film series, playing Harry Potter's godfather Sirius Black. He made his first appearance in The Prisoner of Azkaban, 2004, to positive reviews, with Kenneth Turan of the Chicago Tribune writing, "Doing especially good work are the key people new to the series." Oldman exhibits a delicacy he hasn't always shown with the character of Sirius Black. 70. He continued to portray him in the films The Goblet of Fire, 2005, The Order of the Phoenix, 2007, The Deathly Hallows Part 2, 2011. The following year, he starred as James Jim Gordon in Christopher Nolan's commercially and critically successful Batman Begins, 2005, a role that he reprised in the sequels The Dark Knight, 2008, and The Dark Knight Rises, 2012. The film critic Mark Kermode, in reviewing The Dark Knight, downplayed claims that Heath Ledger's Joker was the highlight of the film, saying, "The best performance in the film, by a mile, is by Gary Oldman. It would be lovely to see him get an Oscar nomination because actually, he's the guy who gets kind of overlooked in all of this." 71. Oldman co-starred with Jim Carrey in the 2009 version of A Christmas Carol, in which Oldman played 3 roles. 72, 73, 74. He had a starring role in David Goyer's supernatural thriller The Unborn, released in 2009. 75. In 2010, Oldman co-starred with Denzel Washington in The Book of Eli. 76. He also played a lead role in Catherine Hardwicke's Red Riding Hood. 77. Oldman voiced the role of villain Lord Shen and was nominated for an Annie Award for his performance in Kung Fu Panda 2. Oldman received strong reviews. 78. And earned his first Academy Award nomination and a BAFTA Award nomination for his portrayal of the British spy George Smiley in Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy, 2011, 79. An adaptation of the John L. Kerr novel, directed by Tomasz Alfredson. To prepare for the role of George Smiley, Oldman gained 15 pounds, watched Alec Guinness's performance in Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy, and paid a visit to Smiley's creator John L. Kerr to perfect the character's voice. 30. In 2012, Oldman played Floyd Banner, a big-hitting mobster, in John Hillcoat's Lawless, alongside Tom Hardy, Shia LaBeouf, Guy Pearce and Jessica Chastain. The following year, he portrayed Nicholas Wyatt, a ruthless CEO, in Robert Luketic's Paranoia, along with Harrison Ford and Liam Hemsworth. 2013, present, award success. Oldman at the London premiere of Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy in 2011. In 2014, Oldman starred alongside Joel Kinnaman, Abbie Cornish, Michael Keaton and Samuel L. Jackson in the remake of RoboCop, as Norton, the scientist who creates the title character. Also that year, Oldman starred in Dawn of the Planet of the Apes as one of the leads alongside Jason Clarke and Kerry Russell. In a promotional interview published in the July/August issue of Playboy magazine, Oldman denounced what he saw as excessive political correctness in American media, alleged discriminating hypocrisy by entertainers who hide behind comedy and satire to say things we can't ordinarily say, and downplayed the convictions behind offensive slurs said by the actors Alec Baldwin and Mel Gibson, attributing their statements to anger and inebriation, respectively. He went on to say that Gibson, who had faced censure for anti-Semitic remarks, had bitten the hand that feeds, being in a town that's run by Jews, referring to Hollywood. Oldman stressed that he is not a fascist or a racist comedy, but was nevertheless criticized for his comments. 81. He issued multiple apologies, including on the June 25 edition of the late-night talk show Jimmy Kimmel Live, where he described the remarks as offensive, insensitive, pernicious, and ill-informed. 82-83 Both the Anti-Defamation League and the Simon Wiesenthal Center welcomed Oldman's contrition, the latter inviting him to its Museum of Tolerance to screen 2017's Darkest Hour. 83-84 The director David Fincher told Playboy, "I know him very well. Gary's not cruel. He's an incredibly thoughtful guy." 85. In 2015 Oldman played the head of police that investigates Tom Hardy's character in Child 44, alongside Noomi Rapace and Joel Kinnaman, and had a supporting role in the post-apocalyptic American thriller Man Down, directed by Dito Montiel, and starring alongside Shia LaBeouf and Kate Mara. In 2016 Oldman played a Central Intelligence Agency chief in Criminal, directed by Ariel Roman, and starring Kevin Costner, Tommy Lee Jones, Ryan Reynolds, Alice Eve, and Gal Gadot. In 2017 Oldman played 3 film roles: a billionaire entrepreneur in The Space Between Us, an Eastern European dictator in The Hitman's Bodyguard, and the British Prime Minister Winston Churchill in Joe Wright's war drama Darkest Hour. His portrayal of Churchill was critically acclaimed. 86 Oldman's transformation into Churchill took 200 hours in the makeup chair, 14 pounds of silicone rubber, and $20,000 worth of Cuban cigars, which gave him nicotine poisoning. 87-88 In 2018 he won the Academy Award for Best Actor, 89-90 Golden Globe Award for Best Actor, Motion Picture Drama, 91 Critics' Choice Movie Award for Best Actor, 92 Screen Actors Guild Award for Best Actor, 93 and BAFTA Award for Best Actor in a Leading Role. 94 His Golden Globe win came despite Oldman having once been a critic of that award. 95, 96, 97 He said that he was amazed, flattered, and very proud to be nominated. 98. In 2018, in his first post-Oscar role, Oldman voiced an evil artificial intelligence in Netflix's independent film Tau and starred in Hunter Killer alongside Gerard Butler. In 2019 Oldman starred in horror thriller Mary, directed by Michael Goy, and the thriller The Courier, opposite Olga Kurylenko 99, and appeared in Steven Soderbergh's The Laundromat as Jurgen Mossack, opposite Meryl Streep and Antonio Banderas. 100. In 2020 Oldman starred as the Citizen Kane co-writer Herman J. Mankiewicz in David Fincher's biographical drama Black and White Netflix film Mank, which follows Mankiewicz's tumultuous development of the script for Citizen Kane alongside director Orson Welles. 101 The film co-stars Amanda Seyfried, Lily Collins, and Charles Dance. Mank had a limited theatrical release on November 13, and began streaming on Netflix on December 4. It received positive reviews, earning 88% on Rotten Tomatoes, with the critics' consensus being, "Sharply written and brilliantly performed, Mank peers behind the scenes of Citizen Kane to tell an old Hollywood story that could end up being a classic in its own right." 102. In 2021 Oldman starred opposite Armie Hammer in Crisis 103 and in Joe Wright's The Woman in the Window, alongside Amy Adams. 104. Oldman was also slated to direct a biopic about Eadweard Muybridge entitled Flying Horse. 105. In 2022, Oldman starred as a cantankerous manager of intelligence agents in the Apple TV Plus spy drama television series Slow Horses, based on the book of the same name. Slow Horses marked the first time Oldman played a lead role in a television series. 106. On November 20, 2022, he stated that the series would likely be his last role, as he intended to retire from acting once the series ended. 107. In 2023 he participated in the HBO Max special Harry Potter 20th Anniversary, Return to Hogwarts. 108. That same year he reunited with Christopher Nolan, taking a minor role portraying the US President Harry S. Truman in the biographical epic thriller Oppenheimer. 109. The film is based on the Pulitzer Prize-winning biography American Prometheus, The Triumph and Tragedy of J. Robert Oppenheimer, and was a critical and financial success. 110. In August 2023 it was confirmed that Oldman would star in Paolo Sorrentino's then untitled film Parthenope, described as a love letter to the city of Naples.